So I'm a 3D designer, so I studied, I went to school in Portugal, 20 miles away, and then I went to, I think in my O-levels and A-levels, showing my age there, because they were uncool to get O-levels in those days, totally. So I went to art college in Norwich to start with, after school, and then worked my way through various art colleges through London. I wanted to just start with a quote from Simon Cox, who is design chief of Infinity Cars, and Infinity is kind of Nissan's premium brand. It doesn't really sell much over here, it's like Lexus or something. But it costs just as much to make a dull design as an exciting one. I think, you know, we all get kind of bogged down in our day-to-day drudgery of our work, and it's quite easy to kind of just slip into default mode design-wise, and that extra sort of shove you need to kind of, it's like a football coach, you doesn't 10% and you stay focused. I always try to, you know, give it a little bit of extra cheekiness. And a quote number 2, John Peel. 99% of all music is just porridge. And I think that applies to design and architecture and lots of things, isn't it? So it's very easy to just become defaulty, I think, in whatever you do. So when I was at school, you know, most people want to become an astronaut or Premier League football player or something. And I had 2 unticked boxes on my to-do list. And one of them was to become an architect. So I thought it would be really glamorous, you know, standing at a window of a 50 stories up.
Is that how you saw yourself?
Yeah, totally. That's exactly, I'm not quite like that, but I thought it would be a really glamorous job. I thought about like being a doctor, but without the blood and the things. And I kind of fulfilled that dream-ish. I nearly got there. And the second one was not to work for Factory Records or Peter Saville, but to actually have a factory. I had this dream about just having a factory. It's really weird, isn't it? I don't know why. I think it's this guy's fault, right? So this is a guy called Mike Baldwin. I don't know if you remember him. I'm probably showing my age again. He was a Coronation Street character. And I used to think he was dead cool because he was really well dressed. He had all this, like, you know, thing through the top pocket, lovely hair, a pretend Rolex watch, and a plum-coloured Jaguar. And best of all, he had a factory, right? It's called Baldwin's Casuals. They're a jeans factory in Yorkshire, I think. So the best thing about him was that he could turn up at work at 11 o'clock-ish, shout at some people in the factory, and go to the pub, and go home again, drive home probably, have some beer. And I don't know what he did in the evening, but I used to think, oh, that's a nice lifestyle, I'd like to be like that. And the next day, he'd come and do the same thing all over again. I thought, what a lifestyle. So, left school at 19, this is to remind me, Norwich School of Arts, did a foundation year. I went to Furniture College in London, studied furniture, London College of Furniture. Then I went to Chelsea School of Art, did interior design. Used to do the scales getting bigger from furniture to interior design. And then I went to Kingston to do architecture. And I went to Hong Kong for 2 years to work over there. And then I came back, went to the RCA, and I was 27 by the time I popped out at the other end of all of that. So I think I probably flunked school a little bit, and I think it shocked me a bit. And I thought, you know, really got to knuckle down now, get on with it. So, I don't know if anyone else went here at all. Royal College of Art, basically Borstal for designers with a bit of an ego. But it was a good place to So it was a very small college at the time. It's a bit bigger now, but you could work with, you did mingle with like fashion designers and car designers and jewellery designers and things. So it was a really good place to be in the mid-90s. And it was that kind of Britpop era as well, and sort of Brit art and all that kind of Bluro and Oasis kind of time. So it was quite an exciting time, actually. So my professor was a guy called Nigel Coates, who was he's quite an iconoclastic, avant-garde kind of guy. He's an artist and architect kind of guy. And he set the tone for the course I was studying architecture at the time. And just to give you an idea of the sort of work that was coming out of the RCA at the time, this is his proposal for Bridge over the Thames. So a lot of work was about narrative and things, but a lot of it was about sort of tension. So, I was architect, and it wasn't really about the buildings, it was about what goes on in between them and stuff. So all quite interesting stuff. Very exciting place to be. And this is a chair that he designed. And I put the word slurp up there because it's the first word that came into my head. But I quite like design that looks, it's not an inert, solid, static object. I like design that looks like it's about to do something, like lick you, or it's just done something, like lick you. Past tense. And another guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, he's an artist and architect called Will Alsop. He gave us a workshop at the Royal College. He's a real, wino, I don't know if he's still alive, I think he's a great guy. But he designed the tube building in the Bay. I don't know if you remember, gosh, I'm the age again. When we were doing the Bay, there was like this sort of tubular building, he did that. And one of the guys from his office went on to design the Millennium Centre. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is before mobile phones and LOL and LMFAO and all that stuff. His design sort of driver was what the flippin' heck is that. So whenever you look at his work or his buildings, you literally go, what is that? Like that. So I think, now I stumbled across this when I was in Toronto a few years ago. And I think, the amount of design energy you need to push through your design, because maybe you'll find the same thing in your own field, that design gets diluted as the processes go along. And especially in architecture, you can imagine planners and budgets and clients and things. But he's an artist as well, so his drawing work filters through very literally to his final product. So I think drawing is an extremely important part of the process, if you can do it. So I spent the next 10, 15 years working in a branding agency in London, really, just weaving away through the agencies. So I spent, I'd lived in Hong Kong for 2 years before the Royal College, and I had a 4-hour commute every day because I couldn't afford to live in Hong Kong. I had to live on a cheap island somewhere. So I had loads of time to kill, so I sort of used to drink beer and stuff to pass the time. And I taught myself 3D modelling and rendering, which is kind of early 90s, it's like 93, 4, and it was really new at the time. I knew that the graphic design industry had been affected by digitisation 10 years before with desktop publishing, and I knew it was coming to the 3D world. So I kind of became a 3D visualizer and designer at the same time. So this is one of the projects I designed for Regis Business Centres. I designed quite a few airport lounges, okay, so they wanted to have an airport lounge in their offices, in their centres. And what they wanted was a first class, if you imagine a first class seat on a plane, they wanted that experience but on the ground. So I came up with this design, which is called ThinkPod. And I swear to God, I designed it in front of Newsnight on my laptop in my pants doing a hot ride and a plate of crab sticks and things. Nice. And so I designed it really quickly on the computer, 3D model, did a visual, showed it to them, And I thought, you know, they'll develop the design, but they started making them straight away. So, God, you know, didn't need it, like, God, do you want to like think it through a bit? So anyway, they made these, and there are now, for some reason, it's become they're really popular because they give you personal space. It's like having a little pod, you know, they're quite embryonic, I suppose. But I tried to, you know, get a bit of wit into design. I think getting wit into design is often a good thing to do, and also a sense of movement as well. So there's the Regis Centre in Mayfair. They've got a whole raft of them, and they get commandeered. Really, you can hire them by the hour. And I don't know if there's any German people here, but you know, German people put towels on. Apparently, on like sunbeds. Well, these get they come and put their Build magazine on there in the morning and take them. So they're popular, but they've become lots of people doing selfies in them and all that kind of stuff. And the last count, there was 2,000 of them had been built and all over the world. So this guy obviously just hangs out in one. don't even work in it, they just sit there. And some other guy in the States has turned it into it's Jesus o'clock. So he goes and sits in there and thinks about his sins. Probably got some porn maps in there, I imagine. So I'm showing you the nice bits, but there's lots of porridge work that John Peel talks about as well. But you know, this is some interiors work for Bentley. Did quite a lot of work for them. But we're, you know, trying to keep a bit of fluidity in design is how I do it. So you know, trying to keep a bit of movement. This is Terminal 5. I worked on this for 2 years. So first class and Concorde lounges at Heathrow. I'm not posh enough to ever have gone in them, but I've kind of designed, or helped design them anyway. So yeah, that was a nice project. But airline lounge design's quite interesting because you've got to keep adults, you know, it's like a fun house for adults, so you've got to keep people busy for up to 8 hours. It's all about personal space, creating personal space for people. This was a job for Cisco Systems, who I got a rather panicked phone call about 6 weeks before the Olympics in 2012. John, we're panicking, oh my God, we've got 6 weeks, and we haven't even designed, you know, for this company. They had, they'd sponsored the Olympics and they had to do some sculptures around at the park. So we came up with this really like in a couple of days. This is kind of, what would it feel like to be in the internet? So there's all these listening pods and things, you can listen in on people's you know, activities. It's all linked up to Facebook, Twitter and all that. And these coloured liquids would fill up and, depending on usage. It's quite basic. Anyway, they hated that. It's not cloudy enough. Okay, right, I'll give you a cloud. If you want a cloud, I'll give you a cloud. So I thought, where do rainbows come from? Rain. Where does rain come from? Clouds. So if you cut a cloud in half, I thought it'd be nice to imagine that there's a rainbow in it. So this is an interactive screen. And these binnacles here, you could, I think you got like, you looked into them and on the internet, and it made your face into like a massive picture, like a Myra Hindley painting made with lots of hands. It makes yeah, it makes, you know, so you got the internet and all that. Anyway, so there's like 5 weeks to go and the Olympics is opening now, and even signing stuff. So, oh God, so how can we build something really quickly for like 50p? There's like no budget. So I designed this cloud, and 3D modelling I've learned, just talking about the design process. If you've got a 3D digital model, you can generate visuals from it, which is what I've been doing for the last 12 years. And I thought, well, you know, also you can just slice up the digital model and give it to someone who's got digital lathe or CNC cutter and build it really quickly. So that's what we did. So I generated the digital model, cut it up, all the cloud shapes, and gave it to a man. who started to build it. And there it was. It was a nice, really nice, quick project. So apparently it was a bit of a cursed project really. Everyone who worked on it, it slightly went wrong. It was really weird. I've never worked on a cursed project before. The guy building it fell out of it. He hurt himself as well. Like properly broke his back and everything. And yeah, so, but anyway, it got down and I think it's probably been ditched in a canal now or something. We didn't really keep it afterwards. So all lit out and stuff. No, so I've been working, you know, reasonably busy as a sort of freelance designer in the branding industry for 12, 15 years, whatever. And in 2007, actually, I was watching Dragon's Den, which was quite popular then. And we were talking in work the next day, like, what would you design? And you know, my mate came up with a pan with a clockwork wooden spoon to stir your thing up. No. But I thought of Mobius strip toilet paper, so your leg in and sort of use both sides of paper. Didn't pursue that one. And vertical burials, that was another one I had. So freezing people into a spike shaped, then ramming them into the earth and then out, and then that save space. I also came up with, I'd been cooking that weekend with my kids, and I don't know if any of you have a barbecue, it gets red hot. And I thought, well, you know, that's dangerous, why don't I design a COOLTOUCH barbecue? So I started looking into it a little bit, and it turns out that the #1 selling barbecue in the world is called a Weber. Maybe you've got a Weber, most people have. And they actually make these things, which are big steel buoys in the sea, like you tie ships to things. And one guy in his lunch break cut one in half, put some legs on it, and that's still, 60 years later, the world's top selling product. So it kind of occurred to me that no one's actually sort of done a Dyson on this industry yet. So it's kind of an uncharted territory really for design for this field. So this is a car from 1952 when this Weber was first designed. Okay, but can you imagine that still being the #1 selling car? It wouldn't happen, would it? In any other industry. So this is a car from today. So you can start to see, you know, the level of design that's gone into products is astonishing. So more design time goes into a headlamp than a whole car. 30 years ago it wasn't into a whole car. So this is, I don't know if any of you have heard of a Firefax. Mike Baldwin probably got one. So I still have a Firefax. I actually bothered to sketch down my idea at the time, which is quite weird. I don't want to date it wrong. So I spent the whole summer trying to work out how to do this COOLTOUCH thing. I worked with a product designer, Jonathan White, a friend of mine, and we experimented with like ceramics and gels and kiln linings and stuff like that, trying to get this thing to work. And we worked out this is the moment you tamed fire, so it was red hot there and you could touch it on the outside. So most barbecues, the problem with barbecuing is that it's dirty, you know, it's a messy business, it's dangerous because they get really hot, and it's unpredictable because one minute it's too cold and it's too hot and it's too cold again. Excuse me. So we set about just starting to digitally, you know, wonder how it might look, you know. So sort of messing around with different designs and things. These are early iterations of it. And I sort of got the impression that, you know, most of the products in that industry are quite agricultural. They're sort of rough. They're rough products. They're not refined like a car. So what I tried to get with this product is a kind of automotive level of quality in the product. And the way car designers use, you know, they sculpt the car to get light and shade on the car. There's a few things that influenced the design of this. And one was the skylights. This is 1951 Festival of Britain. Some architects called Powell and Moyer designed this sculpture, and it represented Britain as being an unsupported entity. So there's a very beautiful sculpture, and they actually scrapped it after the show, and there's a movement, they're trying to rebuild it actually on the South Bank. But it's incredibly elegant, but what's good about it is the way it plays with gravity. And I've always wondered, the way a product touches the floor is incredibly important. So as a result, our legs and our barbecue are round, so when it touches the floor there's minimal contact with the ground visually. I think that always makes a product look like it's about, either it's just landed or it's about to take off, sort of thing. And another timeless piece of design is Philip Stark's 1990 lemon squeezer. And I think this, as a product, it's got no moving parts, it's beautiful, it's kind of an ornament as well as a functional object. It's perfect, really. And I think in 1,000 years' time, that'll still be exactly as evocative as a piece of design as it is now. And I think it's just the way it's got a head or body and legs, and people can somehow relate to that. And it also looks like it's just landed from another planet, or it's just let us take off. So we're getting closer to our final design. Again, just trying to sort of sculpt the shape of the legs. There's 4 legs instead of 3, so it's more stable. And then we got pretty close to the final design after years of, did it all digitally really, sketching and digital. So we hadn't committed to actually spending any money yet. But it's quite interesting the way cars, glossy objects, I like gloss. If you think about adverts for diamonds and things and De Beers and luxury products, always emphasising the glossiness of the product as well as the shape. So we started 3D printing. This is obviously 3D printing is another extension of the digital process. So we're living in a very interesting time now, where all this can be done. The process of making product is compressed now. Just 50 years ago, you'd have had to go and speak to an old man in a coat called Reg in a warehouse, or in a factory, trying to persuade him to do something. Now you can just pretty much print stuff, obviously. So brilliant. And obviously, we had our triple skin going on, so we kind of got the product to work. It took 2 years to get it to really work. Now, it obviously cost money, so I got asked to go to Australia by a supermarket chain, right, in 2011 to go and redesign a shelf for them. Seriously. And I got 10,000 quid for it, which is a lot of money. And that's a lot of money to me anyway. And so I came back and I thought, well, I can either pay off some credit cards or go on a nice holiday or treat the family to something or whatever. Anyway, so I decided to spend it on getting some tools made. Emma wasn't very happy. So I kind of started the process of tooling up. And once you start a project like this and actually start spending money, you become like a terrible crack addict. And you just start like pulling in, stealing money and getting sort of ways of doing things, So these are massive, big steel things that we need to make the skins of the barbecue. So I kind of started the project. And I thought the project would cost me maybe 10, 20 grand, which I didn't have anyway. And as time's gone on, it's like 10 times that at least. So it's a lot of, once you start a project, it's like a raging furnace, isn't it? You become a bit weird, I think. So we got the skins, we started putting them together. We started designing the legs. So these are die-cast legs. I can hand them around if you want to feel. They're gravity die-cast. Would you agree? Okay. White. So again, we're trying to get this automotive feel to the product. And like I say, where the product meets the floor, it's very, we sort of curved like a water inset. We tried to curve the legs a bit. Try and get some, play with the light on the product. So if you look at that leg, it's full. If you imagine a piece of cake and you held it, it would flop. but if you put a fold on it, it's stiff. So that's the same principle of how the leg works. And this is Jonathan, good-looking boy. He's my nephew. He just graduated from university doing neuroscience, and he pretty much got this thing built. So he was the driving force behind getting the whole thing done. And I was kind of there, but I suppose I was earning the money in the day job to pay for it. So it's not all digital, so we used like putty and balloon pad to kind of shape some of the bits, because somehow sometimes you need a physical product in your hand to kind of feel it and just, you know, you can't do it all digital, I don't think. You know, so it was literally sculpting with clay and paper clips and things. So we kind of got pretty close to the final product, and it started to develop this kind of alien feel. I don't know if you think that's right. It's got sort of War of the Worlds kind of feel to it. So again, it's trying to get that element of a product looking like it's just landed, or it's just about to take off, or it's just about to do something. It's not just a sort of a splodge on the floor. These are the tools. Now, this is 20 grand, you know, I don't even know where I got the money from to pay for that, but I just somehow got it. And so this is, but the tools are almost more beautiful than the end product, really. So these massive lumps of metal, we pour liquid aluminium into them, and it's big steam and puffing noises and stuff, and out pops, out pops your legs. There's a little tip, right? This is our family bed, right? Emma, who's turned up here, actually dropping the kids off. I kind of hope she doesn't leave, no offence. But make sure you get your delivery address right if you ever order tons of worth of metal. So I have to phone Emma and say, Emma, I'm not back till tonight, but there's been a delivery mistake, and I've got 800 barbecue legs have arrived. There's nowhere in the house to put them. I've had to put them on the bed. Sorry about that. And that took 3 hours to move them. Problem. Just one design, just trying to improve the barbecue. So, a grill plate, you split them into two so that they go in the dishwasher. Simple idea, big selling point. People love that. And again, it's all laser cut, really high quality as well. When I started the project, I don't think I really thought about the cost of the product. It was kind of it was like Concord or something. You just kind of get it done, and we're kind of worry about that later. It's a bit of a lesson, really, to be honest. But our handle, I wanted them to be made of solid steel, but can afford that. So we sandwiched it with plywood, and also help keep the heat down as well. But it's kind of worked out to be quite a nice detail. We wanted to have that machined look to the product as well. So when we came to test it for heat, it took ages. I had all the skins made and everything, and it wasn't quite working. Oh God, oh no, wasted all that money. And so this is a thermometer, which is a remote control. So I'd stuff it with charcoal, and I could monitor remotely, like from my bed, for example. And I did. I was in bed at like, oh God, it's gone down to 125 degrees. Write it down. So you could test the product. It turned out that it was 3.5 times more fuel efficient than the current top selling barbecue with half the amount of fuel. So we were filling it with charcoal, and it would just stay hot for ages and ages. Like instead of just an hour, it was like 9 hours. It was still cookable on it. So what that means is you can have a barbecue, at lunchtime, and not have to panic about getting the right cooking window, and the heat spike is flattened out. So it's a really efficient product in terms of fuel. But having said all that, when we actually came to sell the product, all the technical advantages and things go out the window because people just buy it on the look of it. And that's a lesson we've learned really. Aesthetics are really important. So a lot of manual work, so we came to styling all the ribs and things in the product. It looks like Zippy off Rainbow, Not good work. So we then got a company who makes Jaguar, a 5-axis laser cutter which can deal with domed things to cut the eyes in it. And I think putting eyes on the product and weirdly giving it a real character without having to go to the length of a Henry vacuum cleaner, you get stick on eyes, but so we kind of, like car lights really. And then we sprayed one out and it started to really look glossy and good. And then we finally got it to work, so the inside of it's 300 degrees centigrade, which is hotter than your oven. And on the outside it's 34, so it's pretty much ambient, within 30 mil of skin. So, and we did it by increasing the conduction path, because, you know, and radiation, the triple squid knocks that out. So we just thought about, I mean, I'm an art student, I'm not an engineer. So I think if you have a problem and you think about it for long enough, you can actually solve most things. I don't think I can split the atom or anything like that, but you know, if you sit there for long enough, you can work things out. So we got to the point, we had the product ready, and now the important bit is to get a brand wrapped around the product that's equally as good as the product. So this is a Cluedo. I'm not a marketing person either, right? So I'm making all this up, but a Cluedo piece, I think, it looks like Nigel Coates' bridge, doesn't it? A bit. So bottom part of the market, the real bottom is full of crap product. The middle shaft of the is empty, pretty much. And then there's always sort of the bit at the top. There's always people willing to pay whatever because they just want to go down the pub and say, I just spent £3 grand on a shoot or whatever. So we thought we'd pitch the Halo kind of in the middle of the market. It's almost like there's lots of kind of Hyundais and Fords and Vauxhalls, but there's no kind of Audis, if you know what I mean. And that's like a Rolls Royce sort of. I told you I'm not a marketing person, but that's how I see it. And so in terms of getting the brand right, the brand and product balance, Apple are obviously the best at it, you know, because you don't know whether you're buying into the brand or the product. And I think that's a good sort of indicator. And Beats headphones, I've always just thought that's probably just the most perfect piece of product design and branding. It's just so right, isn't it, in every way, you know. So we kind of tried to do that. So we worked with a company, some colleagues of mine in London called Draft Associates. So we developed the brand and identity with the jumping O, it's a bit like a degree symbol perhaps. It's quite distinctive, quite witty as well. So luckily, because I've spent years and years doing visualising, I was able to sort of create these visuals for the product. And I spent 2 weeks designing a house to go in the background, for example, so that, well, just so that, you know, the whole thing, the whole kind of California feel to it, you know, kind of get the lifestyle without having to go to the length to get your photo shoot. Couldn't afford it anyway. The people have since come up to me and go, I've been to that house. Yeah, that's my uncle's house and things and stuff. That's it. So, he's really kind.
So warm with it.
Exactly. But you can see how we're trying to get the automotive quality to the product and, you know, sculpt it so that the light, you get the sort of light and shade thing going on, like car designers do. So yeah, I think the products obviously, you know, have a real presence to it. All right. This is an image from Bentley. It's the back end of a Bentley, and this is the window, I think. So, you know, it's just trying to get that gloss right. So I think gloss is a really important thing in terms of it's almost the veneer of a product. So of course the product has to function, brilliant, but it's the veneer, it's the glossy veneer that really sells it. And we found with the barbecue, people just bought it anyway, because they like the look of it. And it's also more like a piece of furniture than an agricultural, like cooking items. It developed its own personality. Okay, and because the product stays cool, we can do lots of different colours. So we edited it in, you know, pink and everything, which I don't remember when Apple brought up the iMac in the 1996 or so, 88 again. All companies used to be beige, you probably know this, but they all used to be like putty coloured. And then Apple came along and did the iMac, and then suddenly, you know, it was colour. I mean, it was completely blew the market apart. So, you know, we've done lots of shows and things, and it's the colour of the products that the multi, you know, it's a very powerful weapon. Then we employed a really good PR guy called Nathan Rouse, who, without him, we wouldn't have got any press, I don't think. So we started getting loads of press from, you know, the Times, Telegraph, and Guardian, and all the T3. And we even got into the last ever edition of Nuts magazine. So I had to keep that as a souvenir. That's the only reason. Yeah, so, you know, lots of nice things. We're in the top sort of 6 barbecues, blah, blah, blah. Starting shows, it's a very important thing to do. It's like being in a band, you've got to tour. So we did lots of shows, loads of feedback. We literally spoke to thousands of people, got proper one-to-one, like people coming out saying, that's crap. And like, well, actually, well, you know, half an hour later they bought one. You know? And also the barbecuing industry is very tribal, it's very blokey, isn't it? So, you know, I've got a Weber, you know, I've got a green egg, you know, that's crap. So it's a very tribal kind of thing. What's interesting about this product is that over half of the customers are female, which is really unusual. And I think it's because I think it's because it's seen as an appliance somehow, or instead of like a lawnmower, like, you know, like barbecues and lawnmowers are in the shed, it's the same thing. This is more of an appliance. Okay. So I knew that at some point, really arrogantly knew that we get the call from John Lewis and Selfridges, and we did. You know, so we started getting interest from all over, from a company in the States called Frigidaire, who make fridges. In fact, they invented the word fridge. They're a really old white goods company. They're owned by Electrolux. So we started getting interest. You know, they wanted to take the product on and things, but we just weren't ready, really, production-wise. We self-financed the whole thing. Probably a mistake, but you know. Anyway, Selfridges took on the product, and so we've gone from like kitchen table, self-financed. You know, Jonathan, my nephew, was really the guy who got it all made. We ended up in Selfridges within I don't know, 2 years or 2 or 3 years from scratch, which is quite hard to do. And we were very lucky. And John Lewis are you know, ongoing discussions with them as well. So, right, so we were in Shoreditch at the time. We thought, sod Shoreditch, we're going to go to Splott, which is the next Shoreditch, isn't it? It's true, Shoreditch is the next Splott. But, so we had our, you know, our Mike Baldwin dream slightly ticked. This is Emma. If you do see her anywhere, like coming in, just let me know immediately. Don't tell her about the 10 grand tooling issue.
It's on video.
I know it's good. So yeah, it was, you know, but it was freezing in Splott. Because I was constantly had stiff nipples and blue lips, and I couldn't feel my hands most of the time. It was freezing. It was a workshop thing. Didn't have any windows like this. We were on the completely opposite way now. Got windows everywhere. Right. So the product is like, it does a lot for, so you know, it manages to stay cool and all that. So it needs to be strictly designed now to as far as we could. And there's 138 components in that product, which is a problem because it makes the product quite expensive to make. But so we kind of in a situation where we've got lots of interest in the product, but to make the product a bit cheaper, we need to spend a bit more money, like 100 grand on it. There's a lot of money just to retool it a bit and make, take 100 quid out of the cost of making it, and then it will go properly. We sold them in Japan, Australia. You know, you have people wanting to buy hundreds of them. You know, so there is, we kind of, this year's been a bit of a, you know, we kind of pulled back a bit this year. We need to re-engineer it a bit, and we're designing new products as well. It's very hard to make a brand out of one product. There's not many companies successfully done that. I think Brompton Bikes managed it, but it's taken them 40 years to do it. Oh yeah, so sod Splott, we're off to Butte-town. Splott was too cold for me. Anyway, so we've spent this year, we've designed a whole range of products now, so this is where we're moving from now onwards. So our Halo COOLTOUCH is I'm going to push that at market. We've got cheaper ranges, like portable ranges and things, tongs and utensils and stuff. I'm going to show you my tong, actually. I'm really proud of this. This is my new tong, barbecue knife. Okay, so in one action, you can stab, flip, roll, and drag. Like that. Like that. Big handle. So there you go. So we're pushing this product at market, making it more expensive to go further towards the bell endy bit. Okay. Make it even more expensive because weirdly people who buy it want to buy it anyway. And we got a mid-range product with a third of the amount of components in it. This is so we're combining like the handle with the chimney sort of thing. So we've learned a lot about how to reduce components in the product. This is our new portable barbecue, which magically pops up to twice the size. So you cook a whole chicken in there, if you fancy. But again, it's really the aesthetics of the product are absolutely key, totally. So we try to maintain that sort of ethereal, slightly alien look, I don't know. And again, that product's got 12 components in it, so I don't have to spend any time sticking it together. I think that, I studied architecture, and I kind of think that the products I've designed sort of look like buildings, weirdly. I don't know what. It's an architecture thing. Again, our charcoal as well. We developed a range of charcoal bags. Oh yeah. So you buy charcoal from the petrol station, and it comes in a bag. They soak it in chemicals to make it light. So when you use it, it stinks. It's your eyes stink. So we contacted 4 woodsmen around the UK, and they do this foresting technique called composting, which means that you don't chop a tree down, you trim it and it grows back quicker. But the charcoal from it is perfect. So we designed this bag, and it's like a chimney. So there's a chamber in here, natural wood shavings in there. So you pop a match in there and the whole thing goes out. Lights, even in the rain, it lights. It's really weird. These are like £8-9 quid. They've been popular, but they made it to me. So we need to re-engineer that a bit. But it's a bit like an espresso coffee machine. You get the little capsule, that's really expensive, but it's really convenient and clean. And that's the barbecue equivalent of that. So, nearly there. We were approached by a French company, who guys got loads of factories in France, who makes barbecue bits. He wants to make these things. So I said, that's fine, but what you want is your own barbecue, I think, because, I don't know, I just thought they're really quirky French. French design's quite quirky sometimes, in a good way. So I said, well, I'll design you a special barbecue just for you. That's not, it's like a 100 quid barbecue, it's not like a 500 quid one, so there's no high tech or anything in it, it's just based on aesthetics. So it's almost like if you've got a Weber barbecue, if the French had designed that, how would it look? So I thought the 2 Frenchest things I could think of was Monsieur Hulot and the Michelin Man, and came up with this. So hopefully we'll see this in the John Lewis at some point in the future. So it's a simple product, but it's really just, really simple, kind of honest sort of design, nothing flash, not expensive, sort of thing you can have for 5 years and chuck away and hopefully buy another one. And this is a bit of funding for that. So it's not all about barbecues. We've been approached by other companies now to do some product design work for them. This is a new radiator, a battery actually, so we'll all have batteries in our homes soon. Tesla started doing it in America, so you don't need to get electric bill ever again. You need one of these in your home that will power, either you get solar power or other, but that's the next big technology wave. So our client had like a box of wires, and he said you need to turn it into a consumer product that looks like a Bang & Olufsen telly or something like that, or an iPhone. You know, it needs to be seductive. And this is a project we've got on with a furniture company. So we're redesigning the classic school desk. So it's height adjustable, so you can stand up at work, because that way it's an obesity thing, more calories burned. And also we've introduced a light bar to the school desk, so you can get daylight simulation in dark classrooms, and it makes kids more alert and wake up. And this is our own project. It's another, we've designed some pans actually, so they're double skinned, heat efficient cooking pans. So when you put a pan on a hob, 50% of the heat goes into the room, to waste. So these have got a double skin wall, so we're working on that. And that's it, finished.